So for this interview, I've got some friends and family here that will be interviewing with their experience in special education. I'll have them introduce themselves.
I'm Carolyn Worrell Brady, and I've been working in special ed for over 33 years. I have received my BA from University of South Florida, and at that time it was called mental retardation, although we don't really use that anymore, but that's what the degree was, and my minor was in sign language. And then later on I went and I got my master's in teaching and arts, and then I went and finished my doctorate in 2017 with emphasis toward autism.
Thank you. Very impressive.
Well, I'm not nearly as impressive as her, but I am Sam Holder, and I have worked in special ed for 6 years as her para.
Both given a little bit about your background, how long you've been working with special education, and maybe a question I'd like to ask, what type of training did you feel really helped prepare you to go into special education?
As far as specifically training, I think it's more experience than the training that made the difference in the world for me.
I didn't really, kind of like her, I think more in the classroom experience is where you learn most of how to deal with the students and stuff like that. I mean, I went to a couple trainings, but I don't think in-class training can prepare you for working with the students.
Each child is
It's
so
different.
unique, and so they can teach you general things, what to do and ways to teach, but because each child is so different, you can just pull different things from what you've been taught. But the big area, I really believe, in regards to being an effective teacher is your experience and actually the desire that you want to be there. You're not there for the money, because if you're going into education for money, you're in the wrong place.
That might lead me to the next question. Why did you decide to go into special education?
For me, like I said, I had started off going for a hearing impaired teacher. I always wanted to work with kids and be a teacher. And then during my hearing impaired internship, somebody talked me into going into special education, and here I am, mega years later. So.
And with me, I never saw myself working in special ed, but I started out going to the preschool, and then they switched me over to special ed, and I was terrified because I had never done it before. But she's a good mentor, and it worked out well. So
She loves me.
Next question we'd have is, for a beginning teacher who is preparing to do special education, what advice would you give them if they were worried about going into special education?
I would hope that after at least 4 to 5 years of college, and internships and practicums, that they wouldn't be nervous or afraid. But if they were, I believe that once they got in there and really started working with the kids, they'd realize there's nothing to be worried about. And I know that's a pretty blasé answer, but really, I think if you really have the desire working with kids with disabilities, that fear, I think, will leave.
I think it goes away once you get in there and just kind of see what it's about. It's not scary. It's new. It's different, but
Yeah,
it's one of the best jobs you could have.
Our
So many
next
other
question
things.
we have is, Have you found it's difficult to get resources or assistance for special education?
I think one of the biggest problems that I personally have found is we get awesome, paras in the classroom, but they don't pay them very well at all. They don't pay teachers very well, but they don't pay the paras very well either. And so they'll stay for a while, and then something better will come along and they'll go. And so we're constantly retraining paras to come into the classroom.
So, in talking about some of these difficulties that you find with special education, what are the rewards that keep you in the profession or keep you going back to special education?
I love the students. I really do. I mean, I think it's good for anybody to work with them because they're just like anyone else. I mean, they need friends, they need love. And I do. I mean, I have a spot in my heart for them kids forever. I mean, I don't know. They're just easy to love.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. And there's several students, even since they've graduated, I still have contact with them or their parents.
Now, having worked and had experience in special education, what is one piece of advice that you would give a new teacher in special education?
Every day is a new day, and make sure you love what you're doing and love the kids. That's the reason why you're there, and make sure you push the students to the best of their ability. I know sometimes people think, oh, well, they're handicapped, they can't do it. No, that means we're making them handicapped. You know, if we're always doing for them, we're enabling everything. No, get them to do it.
But yeah, I mean, an advice, I mean, I don't know what I could tell them, but just go for it. I mean, you're going to be happy when you do it because just working with those students just make your life, I don't know, you appreciate things a lot different. And so I just say, go for it, get your foot in and try it out. So.
And what's really awesome is when you are working with them and you're teaching them a new skill or a concept, and the minute they get it and you know they got it, you know, it lights up in their eyes and their face, and they also feel valued. You know,
It's an aha moment for
yeah,
them.
an aha moment. We all have aha moments, and sometimes I think we take our aha moments for granted. So.
Well, that's a good thing to think about. Well, thank you guys for your time, and thank you for talking about this. And
You're welcome.